the biggest, most prestigious event in our sporting calendar. Yet it's beyond sport. Witness history in the making. The 1999 Melbourne Cup Carnival, live and exclusive, starts Saturday on 10.
Don't wait too long, though, but he's
Keep away.
Waiting on Charles to see the play.
Well, at that stage, Shane Dyer was asking to have a look at the race, and I suspect he has since, because I heard the siren, fired in a protest. We'll take you down to Peter Donegan. He'll have all the details.
Yes, there's plenty of drama happening down here, Tim Webster. There is a protest. Now, here are these horses, Shogun Lodge in the light green and Blackfriars on the left in the white cap. Now, there's no doubt Blackfriars has rolled in here. As we roll the tape, this is what the stewards will be looking at. Here he comes, Blackfriars, drifting across in front of Graham Rogerson's horse. Now, did he get in on top of Shane Dye? He's still coming in a little bit. You can see the marks on the track, and that gives you some indication of whether the horse is rolling in or not. Now, he's got in on top of Shane Dye a little bit there, and Dye has had to momentarily stop riding. Then he shakes the reins up again and pulls the whip as he gets to the outside. So there is no doubt that there was a bit of interference there. What Mr. Des Gleeson and his panel have to decide now is, was the interference severe enough to cost Shogun Lodge the race? We should point out, as we view the action in the stewards' room, Bob Thompson on the right there, Greg Childs in the middle, Peter Hayes on the left, that the horse will change place if this protest is upheld. Shogun Lodge will be the winner, Blackfriars will be second. Let's have a listen to what's going on in the stewards' room at the moment. And it is a packed stewards' room here in Flemington. They'll have a look at the videotape. They will get the jockeys to give their side of the story. They will ask the trainers if they have anything to say.
There's a spare seat there for Mr. Sandberg, who's representing the owners. If you could sit down there beside Hope with Shane Dye. Got a seat for Shane Dye there. Shane Dye, if you grab a seat there. Yes, you were the rider of Shogun Lodge, second past the post in the Derby.
Yes, sir.
And as a rider of Shogun Lodge, you've lodged an objection against Blackfriars being declared the winner on the grounds of alleged interference near the 200 metres. Is that so? Now, as Shane Dye has viewed the head-on video and the side-on video, we'll now show all parties both videos and then get your submissions in respect of the objection.
So now, this is a vital part of any protest hearing, especially in a big race, and this is the vision that they will be looking at. So let's have a look at it once again. Jenny Chapman is here with me as we take a look at this vision, and Blackfriars rolling into the left. There's no doubt that there was some interference there, Jen.
Yes, you can see that Blackfriars is in front, but he's coming across Shogun Lodge now, and he does have to ease marginally here, come around him and then make his run again. Now, what was the official margin? I'm a bit short to be able to see it from here, but the official margin when they finished...
We will check on that.
Not exactly sure, but if I can find out shortly, that will make a difference as well, whether or not they were both going as well on the line.
I'm sure Dan Malicki might be able to pass that down from the commentary box, what the official margin was. I think it was pretty close to about a half length on the line, may have even been a little bit less than that, because in the last 30 or 40 metres, and it was half a length officially, that Shogun Lodge was certainly finishing off his race, I think, better than Blackfriars in the last 50. Yes,
I wonder if we can have another look as well from the side on, the normal shot,
yep.
And that will give us an idea as to whether or not Shogun was making ground on Blackfriars as well, and that will give us an indication as to whether or not which horse was going better.
As they continue to look at all angles, there is the official photo, so it was a half length on the line, and, well, by virtue of the fact that Shogun Lodge had to be whipped around the heels of Blackfriars, there must have been a length and a half at least between them at one stage. So Shogun Lodge was making ground. There is Shane Dye, much maligned rider in various parts of Australia, but no doubt a very talented jockey. You can see that they'll spool the tape backwards and forwards and just check it out, and you can see Blackfriars there in the white cap. Here's the side on now, so we're going to get a better idea from our point of view as it rolls in. It won't give you as much an indication of the interference, but as we go to the tight shot there, look at Shane Dye. He's had to grab hold, put the stick away, and now he knows that he's not going to get a run between Diatribe and Blackfriars, so he has to hook across the back of Blackfriars there and then shake the reins again at this horse and then almost start his run again.
Well, he did have to start his run again. You can see now he's just starting to accelerate, and I just want to see the margin on the line here. Obviously, he does make a fair bit of ground on the leader.
There's a length and a half between them there, and at the finish, there was a length between them. Look at the way he's found the line, Shogun Lodge, and as Jennifer said, the margin is going to be all important when they determine this protest. A half length The momentum of the horses on the line will also be important. A pensive David Hayes. Well, I'm sure all of the family were absolutely delighted and somewhat emotional after that Derby victory because of the death of the late and great Colin Hayes. Let's have a listen to Shane Dye in the stewards' room. In just a moment, we'll pick him up. Des Gleeson, the chairman of Stewards.
Anyone wish to see the backline shot again? No,
just questioning the riders.
Shot.
So now we're going to have a look at the side-on shot. As I said, they will have a look at all angles, and we're going to have a look at every angle that we've got. And here they are in isolation. Blackfriars in the white cap on the outside of Shogun Lodge. And he's just drifting in under pressure. He was going that quickly in that burst, Jen, that Greg Childs just probably wasn't able to control him just for those 3 or 4 strides. Didn't he accelerate?
He did accelerate, and a little bit unexpected too, because he's a horse that I thought would stay the distance, but didn't realise what a great sprint he did have. But this is a very interesting protest, because I think it could go either way.
It is definitely 50-50. Tim Gossage, what have you got to tell us in the betting ring?
Bookmakers are absolutely hanging on this result, Peter. As you know, the next race has been put back. They're not betting on the next race. They are hanging on this result. If Shogun Lodge gets the protest, it's a cleaner. The bookmakers will be cleaned out. It is a big go for Shogun Lodge if this protest is upheld.
You can see there are still many people in the background there behind Tim Gossage in the betting ring, but I can tell you the scene here in the mounting yard is a dramatic one. There are a lot of pensive faces around, just waiting and wondering. I wonder what Bob Thompson's thinking at the moment, Jen, because as we mentioned, he was beaten by a Hayes horse in the Derby back in '94. Let's have a listen to Shane Dye's submission to the stewards.
It's very vital on the first shot, but have a look that he does come in a long way without interfering with me, which he can do, but then he does crowd me and come across, and that's at about the 0-0 mark. And just slow up, you see my horse's head turn in and neck turn in slightly to avoid him. I've got the stick out, riding the horse along to maintain my rightful running, which is mine. Then with Greg moving across so suddenly and coming in and shading me and continuing to move, I've had to stop, which is on 40, and I've even had to turn the horse in slightly to avoid his heels, which you can see. Then on the side-on shot, you see him get right across in front of me. I've got to come to the outside. I've got no other alternative. And when I do, he continues to move across, but I've already come to the outside then. This horse was always running in and crowding. And it has definitely cost me from winning the race. If you watch the last, say, 150, when I do have to let Greg go then, and then I've got to come to his outside, and you see how much ground I've pulled up, or made up on Greg, I should say. It's the difference between winning and losing, what he's done to me at the, 250, 300 metre mark. If I had my rightful running, which I'm entitled to, there's no doubt that horse would have won. Because I wouldn't have had to stop riding, put the stick away, which I had to do, come to his outside. It's cost me a lot more than half a length, definitely, and that film clearly shows that.
Is that all you wish to say now?
Thank you.
Greg Childs, do you wish to question Shane Dye or make a submission of your own?
Yes, I've just asked Shane, did you have to check?
Do I have to check?
Yes.
I had to ease, yes.
You didn't have to check.
Well, I had to stop riding, yes.
Just a question.
Yes.
You didn't have to.
All right, will you make a submission?
I feel there's a couple of things we need to look at. First of all, Shane Dye's coming around the turn. He's actually got in front of me. He zipped up onto the inside and got up right on behind Diatribe and got to his outside. Therefore, I felt that he was in front of me as we were coming around the turn. In the straight, my horse, I've had to pull him out wide. He's made a forward move. He's laid in. I haven't interfered with any runner. I felt that I was clear of Shane Dye when we got close. I feel that Shane Dye didn't have to check his mount. He may have, I'll concede, he may have put the stick away, but he did only put 2 strides, but he did not have to stop urging his mount. And I feel his horse actually, when it was, I felt that my horse sprinted clear and put it beyond doubt. His horse was struggling, so I think...
Shane Dye, do you wish to question Greg Childs?
No, sir.
No. Mr. Thompson, Mr. Thompson, any questions of either rider or any submissions? No. Mr. Samber, any questions of either rider or any submissions?
No, sir.
Mr. Hayes, any questions of either rider or any submissions?
No questions, sir, but I'd just like to say that I think the significant thing in this protest, sir, is that we came into the straight a length and a half or 2 lengths behind Shogun Lodge, sir. We came out and made our run. We ran past Shogun Lodge a bare length. I conceded to Shane that we did shade him close. But the main point, sir, was that we were 2 lengths behind him coming into the turn. We went straight past him when Shane was going straight and level, had no interference, and we accelerated straight past him, 2 lengths behind him to a length and a half in front of him, sir. And then Shane's got out around our heels and just stayed on well in the last bit. But no way, sir.
All right. Any questions from the steward? The margin between the two horses was half a length. If you wait outside, we'll give consideration to the objection. Thank you.
So now the drama really begins. As everyone leaves the stewards' room and the stewards' panel sits down, analyses the evidence, analyses the verbal evidence and also the videotape. And then they have to come to one conclusion. Will it be a conclusion that pleases David Hayes or not? He looks pretty relaxed at the moment, but the conclusion they have to come to is, did that interference cost Shogun Lodge more than half a length? If it did, then he will probably be awarded the race. And Shane Dye put forward a pretty convincing argument. The drama continues here at Flemington, and we'll be back to see whether Shogun Lodge or Blackfriars is the Derby champion very shortly.
$59.70, race to race double $58.70. So the bookies can go to the bar. They might need one. They had to sweat that one out, Tim.
He certainly did, and there was a big roar around the bookmakers' ring because, yes, the punters lament, but the bookmakers are very happy with that result. We lost power down here for a while too during that, so we couldn't really see everything that was taking place in the stewards' room.
I agree with what the stewards, the half a length margin at the post was probably too great a margin to take a race like the VRC Derby off the winner.
You finished second in controversial circumstances 5 years ago here. You feel as though you must have done something that lucks against you in this race?
I'm still very pleased to run second in the VRC Derby. One day, hopefully, we've got a horse good enough to win it.
Bobby, commiserations, but well done on the performance of a very brave horse.
Yes, thank you very much. He certainly is every bit of that. He's certainly a brave little customer.
Bob Thompson, the trainer of Shogun Lodge, after his second placing and perhaps even a chance of winning it in the stewards' room there. Let's have a look at the tote figures for the next race with Dan Malicki. Daniel, it's the middle pin of the Group 1 treble, the McKinnon's.
Tim.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, we're just waiting for these presentations to be ready after all of that drama. And our viewers in North America, that would have been interesting for you. It's only in the last few years we've been allowed into the committee room to hear all of that, and very dramatic it was. As we said, RS Dye put forward a pretty good case. Greg Charles put his, and protest dismissed. So we have the presentations ready for the Amy Victoria Derby of 1999. Yes, well done, Greg Charles, and well done, Peter Hayes, too. And I'm sure if C.S. Hayes was looking down upon proceedings today, he would now have a very, very big smile on his face. In fact, a friend of Robert Sangster's told me that he thinks it could possibly be, if not the best, certainly one of the best horses he's ever had. And there he is, Blackfriars. Very dramatic, very emotional day was the Amy Victoria Derby of '99.